Good morning. Welcome to the second Friday Biz Thing. Good morning, Phil. How are you this morning?
Good, Craig. Good morning to you as well.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Well, we survived video one and no one shouted at us loudly, so we've got some quite good feedback. So this is our second one. So if you haven't seen this before, this is a Friday Biz Thing. So every Friday, Phil and myself give our tip of the week, and they're designed to be short, to the point, and give you as much value as we can. And today, Phil is going to talk about why employment reviews are important. He's going to give us some tips on that. And I am going to cover off how to write a blog article in about 3 or 4 minutes. So these are good tips. So we're going to start with you, Phil. So your tip of the week to do with employment reviews, fire away.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've sort of been quite surprised at with working with a lot of SMEs is how many of them don't actually do employment reviews. Okay. And you know, I think there's a number of reasons why it is important to do regular performance reviews. And the first one is that, you know, most employees actually want them. They want to know how well they're doing. They want to know whether, you know, the company's happy with them. And I think it's also an opportunity for the business owner to, to get to sort of have a bit of one-on-one time with the employee and ascertain their happiness and what they're doing and their role in the company and that sort of thing. But it's also an opportunity, if there are a few issues, to sort of set a few goals and to rectify them.
Okay.
So a good system to use, that I believe is a good system to use, is like as a self-evaluation type of system where you basically the employer and the employee fill out the questions. The employee does a self-evaluation, and then they come together and they can compare the scores. Now, one of the reasons why it's a good system to use is that, you know, 9 times out of 10, if the employee is weak in a couple of areas, they'll sort of know it, and they'll score themselves low in those areas. And so it makes it very easy for then the employer to actually have that conversation around those sort of weaker areas, because they're both scored lower. And I've seen this a lot, that generally the employee will actually score themselves on the area that the employer also scores them low on. And then the other advantage of doing that sort of self-evaluation is that you can get to the end, you can see the areas that need to be worked on, and then you can put a plan together of how you can improve some of those areas. And one of the key things, I think, to ensure is that you don't wait a year to do the next review. You do it every 6 months, and that way you can check up on some of those things that you may need to work on. So that sort of system works really, really well. But I think, you know, I mean, your staff are a very important asset to your business. They long-term, you want to create leadership within your business. You want to improve your staff. And so having employee staff appraisals or performance reviews, or whatever you want to call them, reasonably regularly is really important. So that's my tip of the week.
That's a great tip of the week. I like the one about where it makes an awkward conversation easy, particularly if that employee scores himself low. And that's a real good one, because that can be quite tricky sometimes. If you're talking to people, they get offended. And
yeah, and I think also often what can happen in a review situation is that you could have an employee who's actually, you know, 9 things out of 10 that you know, most of the stuff they do is actually very, very good. But there might be one thing or a couple of things that they need a bit of work on. And if you concentrate just on those 2 things, and to them it feels like it's been a pretty negative review. But if you go through a system where you're evaluating them on all sorts of different areas, then you get the opportunity to actually focus on some of the really good things, as well as a couple of those areas that might need a bit of work, and it gives it a lot more balance.
I like it. That's a great tip. Very, very good. Right. So now it's my turn. I'm going to give my tip. Now, what I come across in my business is content for sites. It's an absolute nightmare. Most people don't do it. Most people hate doing it, and they get that desperate, they end up writing an article about the staff barbecue that they had last Friday, which of course has much appeal as it doesn't have much appeal. So I want to show you an idea, and that's the other thing I get is people say, well, we don't really know what to write about. So I'm going to show you exactly. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you a little tip that I use in my business, and it's really, really powerful to get ideas for content. So just going to come over here now, share screen, and we're going to use, in fact, we'll use a Chrome tab, and we'll go to this one here. Right, now let's go back and make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I am. Okay, so Phil, name a business, any business, doesn't matter what it is, like a type of business.
Powder coating company.
So what we'll do, Phil, is just jump into Google, and I'm just going to enter the word powder coating, which will bring up all the listings and type it correctly for powder coating. But what we want to do is we want to use Google's search here to actually help us determine some blog titles. So if you put the word what in front of powder coating, you'll see Google give you a whole range of suggestions that what people are typing into Google looking for answers for. So if you want to create a blog post, why not create a blog post that's going to help people and potentially get you some business? So, what does powder coating cost? What is polyester powder coating? All these things like this. So if you get stuck on that and can't find anything you want, come to the end of the search term, put a space bar, and you're going to get a whole range of different terms there. So what is powder coating on nails, aluminium? If you can put the letter A in, you'll get more. Put the word B in there. The letter B. You will sit there all day. You'll probably get about 100 items that you can write about. So there's no excuse for not being able to create good quality content in a blog with information that people are looking for that will give you new business. So that is my tip of the week, Phil.
That's a great tip, because that's actually an issue that a lot of companies do actually have, is they want to do blogs, but they struggle for content. So that's a really good tip.
Yeah, and also that if it's in Google, it means there's definitely traffic there for it. And what I often do is I do a page which is frequently asked questions and just jump into that, and I just grab 20 of those or 10 of those and interview the owner. Whoom, bang, you've got some content that will most likely rank for about 100 different keywords. So very powerful, very easy, no excuses not to do it now, whoever's watching this. Otherwise, Phil will make it bad for you. You'll get in trouble. So that's it for this week. That's all I got.
Okay, that's all I've got too.
Great. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you leave any questions, comments, we'd love some feedback. Or you have any questions that you've got that we can answer, please leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.